from Norvell, we go to Mike Leach, another Mike, and he's in the SEC. He's going from Wazoo to Mississippi State. And C-Mart, honestly, give me 30 seconds of your initial thoughts on Mike Leach going into the SEC, and more specifically going to a Mississippi State team that, as you look at the numbers, running was their job. From Mullen to Moorhead, running was their job.
Well, let me start by saying, as with all these coaches, Mike Leach is in the trust building phase with his players. And so I think that must be stated because he's still trying to win them over in terms of character and leadership and those sorts of things. That being said, football wise, let's not make any mistake about it. Mike Leach is who he is. He runs that air raid system. He wants to spread you out, make you defend the grass or the turf in every blade of it. And so he likes to open up that offense so that you can get high percentage throws, so that you can get easy reads, you can get quick decisions. And so I think that'll be the interesting call here because, the personnel-wise, they were so different schematic-wise a year ago. They wanted to run the football with their quarterback quite a bit, where Leach wants to air it out. And so it's going to be interesting to see the dichotomy and how it comes together.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this right now, and we're watching. This is Nick Fitzgerald. This is from a couple years ago, but Garrett Schrader as well. This is the quarterback that they are, right? They are guys that run. They run the football. Yep. They can run the football. They're tremendous athletes. We don't see them throw nearly as much. When you looked at that, we saw that lead-in graphic and the difference in even the difference in touchdown to interception ratio, where it was like 89-20. And you mentioned that with Leach wanting easy throws and easy completions, no interceptions, to 41-26. More interceptions for Mississippi State because these guys are more adept at running the football. So I think this is going to be very interesting to watch. They have good pieces at Mississippi State. They've recruited, and this is going to be weird, they've recruited really well on a national standpoint. But in the SEC, they're still in that bottom one-third, that bottom half of the SEC from a recruiting standpoint. And I'll be honest, I haven't thought about a Mississippi State wide receiver in a really long time. So this is where Mike Leach we're going to have to see the value. You see, this is their passing game right here, right? And it's basically a long handoff, but that's one of their best passing plays they had in this football game because what they wanted to do was minimize their quarterback risk.
And minimize the exposure for sure. And that's where you got to really come in and assess the talent. And I do think you always build around the players that you have because you can't ask a player to do something they can't do. And so if you have a quarterback that's not able to make some of the throws that you need him to make down the field, then you got to be able to adjust to that quarterback. You can't put him in that situation. And I think that's where Mike Leach has been around the game long enough to know that he has to sort of form fit and tailor and shape his offense around what the guys can do there. So it's going to take him some time to understand the players to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, and I think it's about understanding your players, right? We got Gardner Minshew here, and I think the key is the system works, but do you have the players for that system is the big part of the question for me with Mississippi State. And not having – and I guess, listen, as we watch Gardner Minshew go out and carve up Wyoming – what does it mean, C-Mart, to not have spring, to not have a true fall camp? How do you see this system, one that I think by most people's accounts is a little bit easier than a lot of systems? The whole point is the simplicity. Does it give Mike Leach an advantage in shifting that system compared to maybe someone like a Lane Kiffin who runs a little bit more complex situation?
I think it does for sure. It's getting players to swallow a playbook. Now, player aptitude is different for each guy, as you know. And so sometimes, even with rudimentary basic concepts, it can be tough for guys to pick up. Some guys are, they're visual learners. They gotta see it. They gotta take it. They gotta get the reps. Some are high rep guys, meaning it takes them longer to get it and understand in the process. And so that's where teams may get pushed back a little bit, not having the spring ball where you can insert your offense, get the reps at it, and kind of keep it moving. But in terms of what this offense requires, it's not very arduous to make some of these reads. It's very simplified. It's easy throws. It's high percentage. And that's why I think Coach Leach thinks his players will be able to adapt.